Hi guys, and welcome back to Hilltop Farm. I'm Jay, and today we are doing a homemaker tag. Now, a few people have requested that I do this, and I've seen it doing the rounds, and I haven't been interested really because it seems to be something that's directed at, well, quite frankly, at women. And a few people have commented they think that I should do this tag because I was a house husband and stay-home dad, and they would be interested to see from my point of view. So, without further ado, 20 questions about being a homemaker. Question 1. Have you ever had anyone say anything negative to you about staying home or working from home? Yes, I have, actually. Strangely enough, all the negativity when I decided to be a stay-home father generally came from within my own family. My wife, when our daughter was about 6 weeks old, developed quite bad postnatal depression, and it was at a time where that was only really becoming a known thing, and we didn't actually know at the time what it was, and had we known, we could have gone to the doctor and said something, but we didn't. She just knew she didn't want to stay home and look after this screaming thing, and it was a case of, you better step up to the plate and do it because I'm not doing it. And at 6 weeks she went back to work. When my daughter was 6 weeks old, she went back to work, and I had to leave work and step up to the plate, which is what I did. And friends and people we ran into over the years were very supportive. They were very interested, thought it was fascinating and very sort of modern. Always got a distinct vibe from, not all, but most of my family, that they didn't approve, made me feel as though I was a lazy bum that just didn't want to work. And couldn't make them understand, but I am working. I'm looking after the house and cleaning and cooking and looking after the children, but you couldn't get them to see that. So yes, I did get negativity, but as I say, it came from somewhere that we really didn't expect it to come from. Question 2. What is your favourite and least favourite part of staying home? My favourite thing about staying home is the fact that you're sort of your own boss. You're not answerable to anyone else. You can do things when you want at your own pace. Thing I like least is probably the fact that I have the tendency to be a bit of a hermit. I like my own company, and to be honest, I'm not a very social person. I don't actually like a lot of other people, so I tend to keep myself to myself, and sometimes you can be a bit isolated, and it doesn't, being home all the time allows me to indulge that and not step out of my comfort zone as much as perhaps I should. 3. What is your favourite and least favourite chore? Okay, my favourite chore, I don't know as I have a favourite. I don't like using the word chore, to be honest, because chore always to me conjures up images of something that's a real drag that you hate to do, and for the most part, yeah, doing housework isn't like that for me. If you can hear a strange noise, it is one of our dogs. chewing on something he shouldn't have. Rolly, that's not for you. You're not supposed to be playing with that. Anyway, sorry. My favourite, probably doing the washing or laundry, I think some countries call it, or the vacuuming. I find those tasks quite satisfying. My least favourite, hands down, is washing dishes. I hate washing dishes. It drives me mental. Hate it. One of the few luxury items I really have a job to do without, and that's the dishwasher. What time do you wake up and go to bed? Well, being on a farm, it's not feasible to sleep in. And look, it's not something that I always feel like if you're one of these people that gets up at even 9 o'clock, but certainly 10 or 11 o'clock, I feel like you've wasted half your day. No, our alarm goes off at 5 o'clock, and that's it, as we're up and into animals. The only day we don't set our alarm is on a Sunday morning. But our body clocks, combined with, hearing dogs in the background and chickens clucking trying to get out of their hen house, and the ducks trying to get out of their house, it's just too hard. By probably 5:45 is the latest you can sleep in, because you hear all that. So 5 o'clock. And usually you go to bed about 9:30 at night. Sometimes it's 10:30, 11 if we're busy. Sometimes if we're canning, you're up till sort of midnight or something. But normally 9:30. Do you put on anything in the background while you're cleaning, working, that sort of thing? I do. It will either be music, and I have to confess that I am a total fan of the late 90s, early 2000s sort of boy band era. I think their songs are always upbeat and boppy, and you can sort of buzz around and dance along to them as you're doing your housework, so I think they're good. Either that, or we tend not to watch much TV here. We buy DVDs, not just movies, but if there's a particular TV show we like, whether it will be something like one of my favourites is Criminal Minds, but there's also sitcoms we like, so we'll buy the season, and quite often they're playing in the background, and a lot of them we're word perfect on, so we don't actually need to see it, we can hear it. So yeah, but there's usually something going on in the background. Do you get dressed most days or stay in PJs? Well, no, I get dressed, mainly because you can't really go and go outside on a farm if you're not. But I must confess, as soon as I know everything that I need to do is done, and my tasks are then inside for the rest of the day, I will throw something comfy on, because yeah, I don't want to be stuck in clothes. 7. Well, how often do you do your hair and makeup? Well, I do my hair every day. I assume this means brushing it. If you're talking about, going to the salon for a wash and set, you could probably safely say never. And my makeup. Okay, well, I'll modify this. I don't wear makeup. Some men do. That's fine with me. Each to their own. I'm not judging anybody. I don't. But having 2 daughters, I must say, particularly my eldest daughter, loves to make me a guinea pig, and I'd say at least once a month, probably once a fortnight, she decides that we're going to sit and watch TV, Dad, and we're going to give you a facial. And I end up with all these gelatinous goos and masks and very, very nice smelling things all over my face and feet and arms and, you know. So, yeah, I do have that kind of a beauty routine, and it's usually about once a fortnight to once a month. Number 8. What is your trouble zone? It's the area of your home that needs the most help. I would probably say I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm not a particularly messy person. But there is one place in our house that drives me to distraction. As you go out through our laundry room, there's a door in there that goes out the back, and next to that is a sink, a laundry trough. It's, you know, quite a big thing, very deep. And pretty much since we've lived in this house, the taps haven't worked. And one of those jobs that I've always been meaning to do, but it's never a priority because we don't really need the sink, we don't use it. But it's a dumping ground. Everyone puts things in there. And because when they're coming from outside, they might put dirty shoes in there. You name it. Every time I go to it, there is different stuff in there. If people use the last of the washing powder, for some odd reason, they'll put the empty box in there. They will clean out the filter for the tumble dryer, and that ball of fluff felt stuff that comes off of it, they'll chuck that in there. When you come home from the supermarket and you've got the plastic bags they give you to put the shopping in. Now we use those for other things, our rubbish or other things. So they do need to be put somewhere. Rather than put them in the cupboard, they get put in there. Just you name it. And it doesn't matter how many times it gets cleaned out, how many times people get told not to do it. Everyone in this house dumps stuff in that sink. So that is my one trouble spot. How often do you find yourself getting distracted? I don't generally. My biggest problem is I'll decide to do too much at once and then not finish any of them. So that's a bigger problem than starting one thing and then being distracted by something else. So yeah, that's what I tend to do. Do you enjoy staying at home, or do you miss going to a job every day? No, I do enjoy staying home. I don't miss going to a job every day. Every now and then, I sort of feel a bit of a pang because I'll think of someone that I used to work with that I liked, that I miss, I've lost contact with, and I miss. But it's not very often, so I don't lose sleep over it. What is your never-ending chore? Not sure there is one. A lot of these tags on this that people talk about the laundry, and it seems to be something that most people that are the homemakers hate doing, the laundry. If we lived back in the days where they used to, have to cart it down to the creek and slam it on a rock and all that, I can understand why they hate it. But now you spend, 5 minutes, probably not even, sorting your laundry into various piles depending on whether they're coloured or what sort of a garment it is, or a towel or a sheet or whatever. And once you've got your piles, you throw them in the machine, put something in there, close the lid and walk away. I do not understand why people hate washing, because I do not see what's so difficult about that. But they do. They put it down as the thing they hate the most and the thing that's never ending. Whereas dishes are boring. You can stand there for half an hour, bored out of your brain. And that's never ending, because as soon as you finish, what do you want to do? You want to have a cup of tea or coffee, and then you got dirty cups. Go figure. Put them in the dishwasher. Okay. What is your favourite way to relax or have me time? I'm not someone who feels the need for me time. Well, very rarely. I'm quite happy to relax with my family around me. I don't feel the need just for it to be about me. I just don't. I mean, I do like my own company. If everyone goes out, I don't sort of pine or, you know, fret in any way. But yeah, it doesn't bother me if I'm not on my own for a period of time. I'm quite happy. How does your, it says here husband, but we'll put down significant other, chip in? Well, I can't complain there, because yeah, Helen is retired now, and yeah, does just as much, if not more sometimes, than I do. And before she retired and she was working, yeah, I mean, obviously she didn't do as much, but it would be more in the lines of, she would come home, I'd carry on, you know, making the dinner and doing all that sort of thing. She'd do things like, you know, give the girls their bath and get them ready for bed, and things that involve spending time with them that she'd missed out on through the day. So, yeah, I mean, don't other couples do that, where husband goes to work, the husband comes home and does that sort of thing? I would have thought. I don't know. Now, if you have kids, when do you find time to do chores? Now, this always baffles me. And it used to amaze me when school went back after school holidays, and I'd be there dropping the kids off, and all these mothers standing in groups arranging to get together to have coffee and all discussing, oh, I thought this day had never come, they're going back to school, I thought I'd kill them, oh, woe is me. And I used to think, what's the matter with you all? I could never understand. I loved having my kids at home and around me. I hated them going back to school. I'd much prefer the holidays when they were there. And as for when do you find time to do chores, I find time to do chores just because I did. I mean, the children were well behaved, and they had to fit into my routine, not the other way around. And I'm not talking about, you know, under 6 months or under 12-month-old babies. Obviously, you have to be totally at their beck and call. But once they get to a certain age, it's a case of, no, I'm sorry, madam. This is how we're doing it, and you will do it my way. End of story. And I just didn't take any nonsense. And we'd have breakfast every morning, and I would usually sit them down in front of the TV, and I would put on something like Cinderella or Beauty and the Beast or something like that, and I would just get on with my housework, and it would be done after a couple of hours, so then I could get on with other things. They just didn't demand my attention the whole time. I didn't ignore them, but yeah, they just had to fit in around me. And if we just had lunch, I'd clean them up and get them down from the table, and off they'd go and play, or they'd go down for an afternoon nap or whatever, depending on how old they were. And I'd clean up the table and clean up the mess, and yeah, I didn't have to be in the room. They could be in their own room playing, and I'd know that they were in their room playing. They wouldn't be getting up to mischief. They wouldn't be sneaking outside. They didn't have to be supervised 24 hours a day. So that one always has me baffled. Okay, how do you balance being a homemaker and creating YouTube content? Well, obviously when I was a sole stay-at-home parent, I wasn't doing YouTube. So that's not really relevant. You could argue, how do I just manage to have my everyday life now and create YouTube content? Sometimes it is difficult. Sometimes it's easy because it just all happens to sort of fall in place, fall together what you're doing. There are other times where it's really difficult because it's been a few days since I put out a video. I really must do something, and and you're busy and you don't have time, and that it does become hard. It really does. But I enjoy doing it. I hope you guys enjoy watching it. So yeah. Okay, what is your favourite room in your home and why? Probably my favourite room in the home is the living room, I would say. It's comfortable. Our house is sort of like a cottage. It's not very big. We've got 3 bedrooms in it. There's another cottage sort of on the other side of the kitchen garden, which is where my eldest daughter lives. That's a 2-bedroom cottage. This one's 3, but all the rooms in it are, not huge. Kitchen's not too bad, and the master bedroom's not too bad size-wise. All the other rooms are a little small, but it's cozy, and we like that. And we've got all things around us in the living room that we like, and it's where we all congregate as a family, and yeah, I like being in there. What is your least favourite room in the house and why? I would probably say the laundry room, and it's not because I hate doing the laundry. It's because there's 2 reasons. One, I absolutely hate snakes, rats, and mice. Snakes and rats, I will scream and run a mile, just make me want to die. Mice are more a case of I just don't like them. I wouldn't, I don't scream and run and just don't like them. And occasionally we do get mice in the house, and when they come in, it's the laundry room near the doorway to the kitchen where they always come in. I know where they come in. It's trying to stop them is the hardest bit. So there's that. That's only a side note. The main thing is that stupid laundry trough. So, okay. Do you feel your home reflects your personal style? Yes, I do. Helen and I have got very similar personal styles. We both like antique things. We both like history. We both like sentimental things. A lot of people would say, oh, your place is small, it's cluttered. And yeah, it probably is. But that's what we like. So I think it reflects both of us in that regard. What does your home smell like? Well, that's a bit of a vague one, really. It depends when you come. I mean, if you walked in first thing in the morning, probably in about 2 weeks' time, if you walk first thing in the morning, it probably smell like puppy poo. but I'd like to think it doesn't smell like that all the time. We've usually got coffee on a hot plate in the kitchen, so it often, when you walk in, smells of coffee. It sometimes smells of bread and things like that if we're baking bread. We burn a lot of incense, so it often will smell of some kind of incense or other. Yes, when my eldest daughter's home on a weekend and she's doing, she's doing her beauty routine, and she's had a bath with one of those big bath bombs. I think you get them from Lush, I think it's called. She gets all those sorts of things. Covers herself in all these creams and ointments that smell like guava and goodness knows what. Sometimes the house smells of all these fruity smells. So it depends when you come and what's going on. It was only a week or so ago we happened to get about 60 kilos, or that's what, 120 pounds of onions. Now we chopped all the onions up or blanching them to freeze in portions in the freezer. So for a few days the house absolutely stank of raw onion, which is not good because it can smell a bit like BO, but yeah, not good. Okay, and last but not least, what is your strong point and weak spot when it comes to homemaking? I'm a very organised person, so I'm very good at organising and having everything structured and working like that. Weak spot? I'm not sure about a weak spot. I mean, I have them by the hundreds. Well, I've asked around and consensus is I'm absolutely bloody perfect, so what can I say? That's enough from you over there. Okay, so that's all from this tag. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I haven't bored you too much. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any other of our videos. And until next time, it's goodbye from Hilltop Farm. See ya!